Us on Facebook. Got a news tip? Email us at news.
And happy November, new month, running out a year. It is Wednesday, the first day of November, 2023. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. How you doing today? Considerably warmer today at this hour than it was yesterday at this hour. It was 27 when this show started. On Tuesday, it's 32 here in the Wenatchee Valley. Going to be a little bit warmer today. The high clouds have come in, had the blanket over the valleys. That's why it's a little bit warmer. Not a lot to talk about weather-wise today. It's kind of cloudy. There is an air stagnation advisory because we still are under the influence of that ridge of high pressure, which is really beginning to shove off now to the east. So we could get a little bit of dirty air. It only lasts until 11 o'clock tonight. And then, well, here comes a pretty sizable storm system. Big time rain overnight tonight into Thursday morning. It will dry out Thursday about noonish or so. Stay dry Thursday afternoon, most of Friday. And then here comes another part of the same system. Will come our way Saturday. Saturday is going to be another very wet day. It's going to be pretty moist weather. We need the rain. Probably going to get a lot of it. Forecast details are top of the agenda. The news, sports. Well, Texas is just one game away from claiming their first ever baseball world championship. No real problems with the Diamondbacks last night. Other sports to get to as well, including we'll preview both the Huskies and the Cougars and their upcoming Saturday games. And Election Day is less than a week away. When we have the time, and today we have the time, we've been playing selected excerpts from the interviews that Jefferson Robbins did with some of the folks running for public office. And in the Wenatchee School District, as you probably know by now, they are now districted out. So you're going to get your ballot in the mail. You already got your ballot in the mail. And you'll notice everybody who lives, all the registered voters anyway, who live within the borders of the Wenatchee School District will be voting on two seats. One of them is the district where you live, and the other one is at-large, which is everybody. So we thought since everybody will be voting on the at-large position, we're going to go ahead and play the interviews that Jefferson did with Martin Barron and Tricia Cleek. That'll be in the back half of the program, and we begin with our tour around the valley. And by the way, today, exactly 10 hours of daylight. Sunrise this morning, 7:44. Sunset tonight, 5:44, according to my math. That's 10 hours of daylight. Right on the button. We topped off at 44 for our afternoon high on Tuesday, so we've had now 8 consecutive days below normal. We'll be closer to normal today, not quite up to 51, which is our normal high. We'll be right at normal on Thursday and then above normal Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as that warm, moist air begins to move in. Camera number 2, I believe, is right outside our very studio, and there it is. In fact, you can see the cross in the upper left-hand corner, Wenatchee City Hall and Local Tel's headquarters to your right. And that is, of course, Chelan Avenue down below us. Oh, speaking of that, quick little traffic reminder. There is an accident of some kind or another. I don't know the details. Rivercom sent me the text on US 97A, just about 2-3 miles south of the Knapp's Hill Tunnel. Apparently that is blocking traffic, again, on 97A between Aniat and the Knapp's Hill Tunnel. When we get more information from Rivercom, we'll let you know. The Rondo Rock camera chimes in. Still dark up there. Not enough ambient light for that camera to change from black and white to color. It will in about 20 minutes or so. And McNeil Canyon, let's go and check in with Lake Chelan. Now that has enough because it's got so much information on the frame. It has switched over to color. So good morning to Lake Chelan from the very tip top of McNeil Canyon, peeking over the ridge and down to the lake proper. Did I mention it's gonna rain? Oh yeah, baby. Big time rain. Nothing much today. The rain will start at about 10 o'clock tonight, and it'll rain until about 10 o'clock tomorrow. So that 12-hour period is going to rain, and pretty good. 100% chance of rain tonight into Thursday, again, about 10 or 11 in the morning on Thursday. So get ready for some serious rain. We dry out Thursday night and Friday. The rain returns Friday night. Going to rain all day Saturday into Saturday night. More rain Sunday and Sunday night. So you want to prevent, you want that storm water to drain, so if you have leaves covering up that grate, you might want to clean them out and get ready for some big-time rain. And we do have an air stagnation advisory in effect because we're still under the influence of that ridge of high pressure. And you know, we're used to this time of the year. It's a little early for an air stagnation advisory. Usually these things happen in December and January. Same scenario, warm air gets trapped up above. As the cold air goes up, it hits the warm air, goes back down again. No place for the pollutants to go. I just checked our air quality. It actually isn't that bad, but we still have an air stagnation advisory, and it runs until 11 o'clock tonight. From the National Weather Service. High clouds all day today. Nothing thick, just high stratus hanging around out there. So sunshine's taking the day off. We'll get up to about 48, 49 for the afternoon high, which is warmer than what we've had. Pretty mild for the overnight low tonight. Look at that, 38. Again, the rain will start at about 10 o'clock tonight. While you're sleeping, it's going to come down at a pretty good clip, and it's going to last until about 10 o'clock Thursday morning. We could get half an inch of rain by the time this system passes through. Thursday night, rain tapers off. Friday, we get sunshine. Friday night, chance of rain continues overnight. And then Saturday, we're looking at rain all day. On Saturday, with a high of about 52 degrees. Rain tapers off a little bit Saturday night into Sunday, and then more rain Sunday night, Monday, and Tuesday, with temperatures going from below normal to above normal by the time we get to the weekend. That's the weather at 6 minutes after the hour. The news is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, November 1st edition on the NCW Life channel.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
Hi, this is Frank Kuntz, Mayor of the City of Wenatchee. Mike Poyer will make a great mayor. Mike is consistent, he's thoughtful, he shows up, he's prepared, and he always gets to the right answer. Mike just loves this town. He was born and raised here. He has a passion for making this place better, as we all do. And it's been a pleasure working with him on Wenatchee City Council for the past 4 years, and I just look forward to having him lead our city going forward. So join me in voting for Mike Poyer, Mayor.
It's the music that revolutionized the sound of Christmas. Mannheim Steamroller Christmas by Chip Davis. Celebrating the holiday spirit for over 35 years. Don't miss this holiday extravaganza. Mannheim Steamroller Christmas by Chip Davis. America's favorite Christmas tradition.
Hey, hon, would you run this around to the wash rack?
Oh, okay.
Hey, hon, what happened?
They shrunk the truck.
The all-new midsize Canyon is now available at Sangster Motors.
High clouds, 32 degrees. High clouds all day today, but dry. Very significant rain. Heavy rain going to be coming down overnight tonight till about noonish on Thursday. We dry out and then more rain, quite a bit of it, over the weekend. It's 8 minutes after the hour. A ground and aerial search of the Wenatchee foothills over the weekend unsuccessful. And their attempt to try and find Travis Coleman. He was the Wenatchee man who's been missing since last spring. Coleman is believed to have ventured into the hills in the west side of the valley on April 22nd. He is presumed deceased. It was the third major search effort to recover Coleman. This one involved up to 25 volunteers from Chelan and Pierce County rescue teams, a couple of search and rescue deputies, 3 rescue dogs, and the Chelan County Sheriff's helicopter. The operations scoured the area from Castle Rock to Fairview Canyon. No sign of Coleman's body was found, no evidence pointing to where he may be. Anybody with information that might help is asked to call the Wenatchee Police Department. 4 short-term rental operations on the outskirts of Leavenworth have been deemed illegal to operate by the Washington Court of Appeals. All 4 commercial STRs housed visiting guests in Leavenworth's urban growth area, and because of that, city zoning rules apply. They operated throughout the 2000s despite the city's little enforced ban on STRs. And when Chelan County changed their ordinance in 2021 to strictly regulate those rentals, those 4 in question applied for exemptions. Well, the county and its Superior Court turned them down, and yesterday the Court of Appeals did the same. saying that those short-term rentals were already operating illegally when the county law changed 2 years ago. The Washington State Public Works Board recently approved a lot of money, $4.3 million as a matter of fact, to fund emergency infrastructure projects in and around our area. Among those folks who are getting money, the city of Leavenworth and the city of East Wenatchee. Leavenworth gets $400,000 so they can repair the Pine Street water main. East Wenatchee was approved to receive $175,000 in emergency infrastructure repair money to repair that failed segment of the stormwater system on North Baker. They fixed that, by the way, last week. The remaining $3.7 million will go towards expanding broadband connections in unserved areas around Whidbey Island, where I don't live. And both candidates for the mayor of Washington's Bavarian Village have extensive experience in local government. The incumbent mayor of Leavenworth is Carl Floria. He was elected in 2019 to combat the town's housing affordability crisis. People who work in Leavenworth are being squeezed out by rising rents and home prices. His opponent is Rich Brinkman. He's a former Leavenworth City Council member, also a city administrator in both Leavenworth and Wenatchee. We spoke to both candidates as part of our ongoing series of interviews leading to next Tuesday's general election.
If we're going to house and affordably house a workforce, they're going to be smaller units. There's going to be, cottages. There's going to be the idea that you can build affordable single-family homes on a single-family lot. That ship sailed. That's not possible. The cost of them, just the cost alone, makes it impossible. So you need smaller units, you need, more, and, it raises concern for people about density, how much density do we, but you have to use the infrastructure you have because it's so expensive. So it means putting more duplexes, condos, like I said, cottage, even tiny homes, in order to get, to be able to house a workforce. And the other thing, so we've started the process through the Planning Commission of allowing for more ADUs, for instance, more duplexes instead of single family. Now the idea is you keep it in the scope and things. You want it to still look and feel like that small town and that appropriate to the neighborhood, but still have more units. And that's a tricky thing to try to pull off, but we're committed to trying to do that. But the thing that's missing, and this is the thing that we won't solve our problem without a funding stream, that we can grab some of these. Because it's in such high demand with people with money that no matter how many units you create, if you don't have a way to say, we're taking these and keeping these for our workforce, and that takes dollars. That's the only way in this society that you can grab something and claim it, is if you can bring dollars to the table that can put those restrictions on it. And that's where we haven't yet got a funding stream, a local substantial funding stream that will help us to be able to grab that.
Well, I have not seen any real evidence that higher density reduces housing cost. I haven't. And I think we need to be really concerned about, if we are increasing density at significant levels, if there's a major wildfire, how do we get everybody out of town? You remember, what was it, a couple of years ago in California, fires came through and just completely decimated, and what had just happened in Hawaii, right? And people couldn't get out. So I think we want to be, very careful of that. And I think we also want to maintain the character of our neighborhoods. Who doesn't support affordable housing? Okay, and I think I mentioned this the last time I was here, but when the current mayor's affordable housing project of Aldea Village up on Titus Road occurred, I was city administrator, I was new, and the project went way over budget, and I was the one that went out and secured the grant funding to make sure the utilities could be connected and the project complete and usable. So of course I'm for affordable housing, but there are a lot of factors that we don't control here. Market forces. If people want to come to Leavenworth and buy property and develop it, how do we say no to that? We can try and manage thoughtful growth, right? Making sure we have the adequate water and sewer capacity for any new development. But I think we need to take another look at how much density we really want, and at what point does increased density reduce the character of neighborhoods.
By the way, all the interviews for all the contested races in the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington are available for you to watch by going to our website, ncwlife.com. Election Day is next Tuesday. And that is the news on this first day of November, and by golly, we'll have a news for you tonight. We always do. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on TV. If you can't watch it on TV and you have a computer, and I think most of you do, and if you have access to the internet, and if you have a computer, you probably have that as well, you can watch the news online via our homepage, ncwlife.com, our Facebook page, or our YouTube page. And look at the bottom of your screen. That's how you get a hold of us. When we come back, sports, a surprisingly large amount of sports for a Wednesday. It's next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Most of us are in touch with the internet in one way or another all day long. A fast, secure connection matters. It keeps us entertained, informed, and in touch. Localtel cares about your connection. We know strong, reliable internet with your choice of speed makes life better. If you need fast, reliable internet, or maybe an upgrade, or you just have questions, connect with us by visiting localtel.com or call 509-888-8888 today.
Bob File Boats and Motors is your local Yamaha headquarters. For more than 30 years, Yamaha outboards have delivered far more than superior power, performance, and efficiency. Yamaha owners get something that can't be measured in horsepower or RPM. Legendary Yamaha reliability. Find the Yamaha outboard that fits your life at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
17 minutes after the hour, the Rangers are one victory away. They can clinch their first World Championship tonight. They demolished Arizona last night, 11-4. Marcus Semien driving in 5 runs. He had a 3-run home run. Corey Seager, you remember him? He had a 2-run shot for Texas. Rangers went up 3-1 now on Arizona. Texas building a 10-0 lead by the 4th inning, but I stayed and watched the whole thing anyway. Andrew Haney held steady on the mound. He gave the Rangers 5 innings of 1-run ball. Game 5 tonight in Phoenix. First pitch 5:03. If Texas wins, they're the champions of the baseball world. If the Diamondbacks win, Game 6 will be back in Arlington over the weekend. The 5th-ranked Washington Huskies face a calendar circle game this Saturday. They'll be at the Coliseum in L.A. The Dogs are 8-0, and they're taking on Southern Cal, who's 20th ranked. They're 7-2. Coach Kalen DeBoer says he expects the Trojans to be a little hungry. They've had 3 pretty rough weeks.
Just really looking forward to this week. I think always getting better is the message, and that's what it's been all year long, and certainly need that now as we head into the home stretch here of the season. So it's crazy how fast you go from bye week to mid-season, and all of a sudden now there's only 4 left, but four big ones, and looking forward to a great challenge this weekend.
As someone who's worked with a lot of quarterbacks, what stands out to you about Caleb Williams that's special and maybe a little bit different?
Yeah, elite playmaker, can make all the throws, and like Coach Inch said, eyes are downfield, and buys time, will not be afraid to make any throw on the run, deep down the field. So we got to do a really good job of just staying on the receivers and any skill player, especially when he's escaped the pocket, and that will definitely happen. And you got to make the play and get him down and line up and go play again. That's what your mindset has to be, is that he's going to make some plays. There's just not a game. I mean, you're not the Heisman quarterback without that ability, and the playmaking that he has is exceptional.
Huskies and Trojans, 4:30 kickoff, and that'll be on ABC. The Cougars, in the meantime, back home in the Palouse, they're trying to shake a 4-game losing streak. Stanford Cardinal coming to town. Coach Jake Dickert says, yeah, he knows he's catching some heat. After all, they were 4-0 at one point.
Well, I think first and foremost, I understand the criticism. I can take criticism. I get that, and I understand the
the seat that I sit in and the responsibility that I have to getting the team ready, first and foremost. I've always said, we can beat anybody if we don't beat ourselves. And there's been a series of things throughout the course of these games that we haven't executed on our end to go out there and win. And, whether it's UCLA, we're getting some of the stops and takeaways and not scoring, or obviously the last 3 weeks haven't been getting the stops, right? So there's a balanced attack to winning football games, and I think that's very important. The adversity is real, whether it's adversity of losing, adversity of success. I don't know at first if we handled success the way we needed to, but at the end of the day, we just keep believing in a 1-0 process and resetting it and attacking a new mission every week. So that is what our team is about. I think there's been some injuries that have come to play, but that's with everybody around this league. And you got to be ready to go. 3 of those games have been on the road. It's tough to win on the road in this league, and we have to be better, period.
And if you're going to Martin Stadium, bring your rain gear. Going to be wet. That's a 6 o'clock kickoff on the Pac-12 network. Let's see, Eastern Washington is home at 1 o'clock. They'll take on Cal Poly. Central doesn't play anybody. All right, high school. Tenasket, the District 6 1B, 2B soccer champions. They outdueled Okanagan 2-1 yesterday. They earned the championship. Brewster ended Liberty Bell's soccer season 5-1. Cascade also ended Quincy's season. In the District 6 1A tournament, Kodiak's defending their home pitch with a 2-1 win over the Jackrabbits. The big schools, West Valley and Eisenhower, will move on to the District 6 4A tournament. They won last night. The Rams beat Moses Lake, and the Cadets earned 4-0 shutout on the pitch of Sunnyside. Manson volleyball, undefeated and district champions. They swept 3 games from Okanagan to win the district title. At Omak High School, Brewster finished 3rd with a 3-1 win over Lake Roosevelt. Lake Roosevelt takes 4th. Tenasket ended Liberty Bell's season with a sweep. Moses Lake ended Eastmont's volleyball season. They swept the Wildcats last night in a play-in game. Davis also advancing by sweeping Eisenhower. Wenatchee getting ready to host West Valley for the district championship. The latest WIAA state RPI ranking has the Panthers 5th. Ellensburg is 3rd in 2A. Chelan is 4th in 1A. Manson is 2nd in 2B. And Waterville-Mansfield is ranked 9th in the 1B rankings. While we're talking about the RPI, football teams. Eastmont, number 1 in the RPI. Moses Lake is number 5 in the 1A. Cashmere is number 2 behind Royal. Okanagan is number 2 behind, let's see, I don't know who they're behind actually. Liberty Bell is number 1 in their classification. Elmira Cooley Heartline is number 4 in the 1B ranking. Prep football schedule, they had some games, so now we have a general idea where we're going. Big 9 teams playing crossover games include Davis at Hanford Thursday. West Valley will host Meade. Eisenhower will host Lewis and Clark Friday at 5. The Panthers will take on Kamaikan at 7. Moses Lake will host Chiawana. Sunnyside plays at Gonzaga Prep Friday night. Eastmont will host Richland. The Bombers beat Central Valley and beat them good last night. Don't know when the kickoff is going to be. 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock, whatever kickoff time is going to be. We will have it for you live right here on the NCAA Live channel with Eric and Grant with the call at either 12:30 pregame or 3:30. We'll know more. The reason that we don't know when the game is going to kick off is because we still have to figure out who's going to win the soccer championship. Wenatchee will host Eastmont for girls soccer, the district championship tomorrow night. If the Panthers win, Eastmont, the girls soccer team, would play at 1 o'clock, followed by the football game at 4 o'clock. If the Wildcats beat the Panthers tomorrow in soccer, the football game will be at 1. Did you get all that? Caribou Trail League crossover games look like this. There is your schedule. So go local teams in the Caribou Trail League football crossover games. And by the way, while we're talking about the Caribou Trail League, they're out with their all-season honors, all-league offense. Chelan running back Lance Gogol. He is the CTL Offensive Player of the Year. Congratulations to him. Cashmere and Omak also dominated the names on the CTL all-defensive team. Cashmere defensive back Trey Smith is the Defensive Player of the Year. All right, the crossover schedule, CWAC, Central Washington Athletic Conference. There is a look at the crossover schedules. They begin tomorrow night with Grandview and North Central. And Ephrata doesn't get to play anybody. Okay. For the 2Bs, there is your schedule again. Some games Friday, some games on Saturday. And for the 1Bs, there is your schedule as well. Some games Friday afternoon, other games on Saturday afternoon. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. First day of November for the Obscura holiday. We go back to November 1st, 1944. Donald Watson was a non-dairy vegetarian, and he got together with all of his other non-vegetarian friends who also didn't eat dairy, and they started a new movement. It would eventually be known as the vegan lifestyle. The vegan lifestyle. So if you eat only fruits and vegetables, and you don't eat anything else except fruits and vegetables, first of all, good for you. You're living that vegan lifestyle. Among the famous vegans out there, Zac Efron, Beyonce, Bill Clinton, who doesn't scarf down hamburgers anymore. When you have quadruple bypass surgery, you have a tendency to do that. Natalie Portman, Madonna, Woody Harrelson is a vegan, although he probably doesn't know it. Happy World Vegan Day. I am impressed for those people who have that kind of dietary discipline. I do not. Today in history. Yet another friendly reminder that half of the American Revolution was the American colonists throwing off the shackles of King George, taxation without representation, religious freedom, liberty, get rid of the mother country, start our own country. That was half of it. The other half was Great Britain screwing up, and this is another example of Great Britain screwing up. The Tax Act went into effect on this date in 1765. The French and Indian War is over. The British won. Of course, the British troops in North America won, and somebody's got to pay for it. So the British Parliament says, we'll just make the people living in North America pay for our war. And they weren't real interested in that. First of all, they weren't real scared about the French. There were still some French hanging around. They weren't threatened by them. And they said, we already paid our bill. What, are you going to bill us again? You're going to take us to collections? The British Parliament enacts the Stamp Act on this date in 1765. Not their smartest move. All it did is tick a bunch of people off. Happy birthday to the White House. This is the only known photograph of John and Abigail Adams moving into the White House. Rented the U-Haul, got a pretty good deal, $20 a day, one way. They moved into the White House November 1st, 1800. Very little of the original White House, of course, remains. During the War of 1812, the British burned most of it. And then, of course, they completely remodeled the White House in the late 40s and early 50s. The White House has 132 rooms, 32 bathrooms, 6 levels, 2 below ground, 4 above ground, 412 doors, 147 windows. There are 28 fireplaces in the White House, 7 staircases, 3 elevators, has a tennis court, a jogging track, a swimming pool, a basketball court, a movie theater, a billiard room, and a bowling lane. Happy birthday to the White House. Speaking of the White House, November 1st, 1950, they had completely gutted and were rebuilding the White House because it was falling apart. Harry Truman and his wife Bess and their daughter Margaret moved into the Blair House and lived there for a couple of years, directly across the street from the White House. Didn't affect the Oval Office. It was just the residence and the building itself that they were remodeling. So Harry would just walk across the street and go to work each day for a couple of years. But a couple of Puerto Rican nationalists who wanted statehood for Puerto Rico, or if they couldn't get that, their own country, took advantage of lax security and the fact that he wasn't in the White House and tried to kill the president. Here's a contemporary newsreel from this date in 1950.
Outside Blair House, the president's temporary Washington home, extreme fanatics of the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party try to force their way in, guns blazing, to assassinate the President of the United States. When the 3-minute shooting is over, assassin Griselio Torresola lies dead on the Blair House lawn, and White House policeman Leslie Kofelt is dying a few feet away. Assassin Oscar Collazo and 2 other guards are wounded as the plot is foiled. Police and Secret Service men examine the damage. A picket on the iron fence is knocked off. The steps and doorway of Blair House bear bullet holes. Only the guards' quick action prevented more casualties. At Washington's emergency hospital, a 24-hour guard watches over Collazo, who, despite a chest wound, recovers to face trial for murder. The president, who was taking his after-lunch nap upstairs in Blair House at the time of the shooting, emerged shortly afterward to attend ceremonies at Arlington. Americans of all political beliefs congratulate Mr. Truman on his escape.
It was on this date in 1950. 68 years ago today, Jack Gilbert Graham Boy, you talk about having your mother issues. He was born during the height of the Great Depression. In 1937, his dad died. His mother, Daisy, had no money, so she sent her son, Jack, off to an orphanage to live because she couldn't afford to raise the kid. They were in abject poverty. That was in 1937. 4 years later, she got remarried to somebody who was very wealthy. That person died. Daisy inherited a bunch of money, became a successful businesswoman. In the meantime, her son, Jack, still sat in the orphanage. Finally, when he was legally allowed to leave the orphanage, Jack, at the age of 22, reunited with his mother. It didn't go very well. When you got a bunch of money now, why didn't you come get me out of the orphanage? And finally, well, he got revenge by buying a whole bunch of life insurance policy on his mother, planted a bomb, and he blew up. United Airlines Flight 629, flying from Denver to Portland. Everybody on board died. Didn't take him too long to figure out who planted the bomb. It was that guy. He was tried, convicted, and executed. And finally, happy birthday to what the locals call Big Mac. Big Mac opened 66 years ago today. The Mackinac Bridge. It connects the peninsula of Michigan, the lower peninsula, to the upper peninsula. I've been on bridges that were 5 miles long, but those bridges are like right along the water. You don't really get that geophobia thing, the fear of crossing a bridge, because it's, right on the water. You don't really know you're on a bridge. This, you're on a bridge. It's 5 miles long. And the Mackinac Bridge Authority, who owns the bridge, they have a program. It's called the Driver's Assistance Program. If you have geophobia, fear of crossing bridges, they will drive the car over for you. You make arrangements in advance. I got to cross the Mackinac Bridge. And on one side, you get out of your car, and they have a driver you get in the passenger seat, and the driver will drive your car over the bridge and back again, if you so desire. Big bridge. It's due some birthdays at 32 after the hour. One of only five golfers ever to win the career Grand Slam. Talking about Gary Player, the great golfer from South Africa. I played some of his golf courses that he designed. They're pretty good. He's 88 years old today. David Foster, who's written so many top 40 hits, I can't even begin to count them all. He's written about 40 top 40 hits. He's probably written some songs that you didn't know he wrote. David Foster, 74 years old today. The current CEO of Apple Incorporated. Tim Cook, 63 years old today. Happy birthday, Tim Apple. Happy birthday to Gavin. Gavin's one of the big followers of this show and our television station, loves the TV station. We love him. Happy 27th to Gavin. Wanted to get that one out for you. And special thanks to our platinum sponsor, our friends at Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air for heat and air. Call Alpine Air, one of our platinum sponsors on the NCW Life channel. Still to come, an opinion from Mike Mad Dog Minotti. Then you're going to hear from the two members who are running for the at-large position on the Wenatchee School Board, Martin Barron and Tricia Cleek. Those interviews are coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low price.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
Check out clubcrowcashmere.com for upcoming events and tickets.
Like Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, the area of town I live in is an older area and has narrow streets, okay? So when people are parked on both sides of the streets, if two cars are opposing each other, yeah, they can barely pass, but it's typical for somebody to pull over into, you know, an empty spot so the other person can pass by. Now, when someone does that for me, I always acknowledge them and wave. But when I do it, people don't acknowledge me and wave. No, what I'm saying is this. If someone shows you an act of kindness such as this, acknowledge it. How can we become a better, kinder society if acts of kindness are ignored? So, if you see me coming and I pull over to the side of the road to let you go by, just give me a little smile and wave, okay? That'll make me feel better about myself, and I won't feel so persecuted. All right, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Kuntz mir das Problem sagen.
Meinen Zylinder überschwimmt. Flute, ich habe mein Fugen verloren.
Keine Sorge.
Global Car Care. We speak your car's language.
Fragenschlussen.
Hey, you! Well, I got a leaky transmission, my head gasket's shot, and I could use some new brake pads.
That dog don't hunt.
Global Car Care. We speak your car or truck's language.
The family at the Eplodolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Eplodolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Eplodolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Eplodolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
It's the music that revolutionized the sound of Christmas. Mannheim Steamroller Christmas by Chip Davis. Celebrating the holiday spirit for over 35 years. Don't miss this holiday extravaganza. Mannheim Steamroller Christmas by Chip Davis. America's favorite Christmas tradition.
This is Grace, and this is her world record-holding guinea pig with an iconic name, Abby.
She currently holds the Guinness World Record for the highest bar jump by a guinea pig. I ride horses and I jump, so I kind of thought it'd be interesting to teach my guinea pig to jump like my horse does.
One day she came out of her room and looked at us, and I said, "Did you get it?" And she said, "Yeah, we got it."
After we won our award, we came to Abby's to celebrate.
Jefferson Robbins with NCW Life. The Wenatchee School District has 3 school board races up for decision this November. One of the candidates for one of those races joins me today, Martin Barron, running at large. Having spent 4 years on the board during a really tumultuous period, what do you feel like you've learned about steering a family of schools that you could then bring to another term?
I'm going to begin almost that it's more work than you realize, but you get back to a board needs to be collegial and work as a group. Statute-wise, our only authority is as a group. And in order to do that, you have to treat everybody with respect, and you also have to recognize how to work to something that is either a consensus or close to it, and take joint responsibility for it. And once we've made a vote, even if you disagreed with the details of it, then your job is to support the implementation of that. That critical board behavior is really, really important. I think I work hard on it, and it's one of the reasons why I agreed to continue for another 2 years, because I think I can contribute that.
You've said that if you're elected, you'd serve this next 2 years term and then be done. Is that you see that as being the end point of your time on the board if elected?
That is correct. I think I bring a lot of experience. I'm a lifetime learner, multicultural. I've had a number of different careers, none of which are education, but I'm a great consumer of education and training and recognize its value. So I think I'm able to complement the professionals in the district to a considerable extent. And I do have a lot of background to kind of be a community elder. But it's important to get new faces, new brains, and a different generation involved. So I'm continuing for 2 years because we've gone through a lot of change. All 5 positions are up for election. We're on our 3rd superintendent in 3 years. And I worked very hard to support every one of those 3. And I have an excellent relationship with Dr. Corey Kelleher at the moment. So I think I can be useful, but as a bridge to a future school board, which will be different.
Some of the things that a school district does, not speaking of Wenatchee specifically, but school boards in general, is adopt policies that are either recommended or even imposed from Olympia. So is there a role for a school board in saying no to a statewide policy that the consensus on the board opposes? Is there a role by which a school board can go back to Olympia, say, hey, we think you're making a mistake in this, and here's why?
You can certainly go back and express your opinion. You could do it directly to your own Senate or state representative, and that channel is one of the jobs of a school board. The legislative representative on the board does that, and the whole board can put in opinions. We also do that through the Washington State School Directors Association, WASDA, and they collect opinions, and they're the ones who actually issue most of the model policies. So you can get a model policy from the Directors Association, which is an impartial, non-partisan, but statutory authority. You can get it from the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction as a regulation, or you can get it by law. So I sit in on the Students Advisory Council to the superintendent, and I found helping out with a project for some high schoolers that they didn't understand how policies were set and how you influence change through policies. And so I sort of thought about it. You start with the law. All policies have to be lawful, and you can't write a policy that isn't lawful. It causes a problem.
The mission statement of Wenatchee School District involves making students future ready. And the new statewide school report cards are out from OSPI. In Wenatchee School District, 42% of kids met the standards for ELA, according to this. Only 28% met math standards and 34% for science. So is the district really meeting its own standard of making students future ready if students aren't meeting the state standards in appreciable numbers?
I think you'd have to say, no, we're not meeting our ambitions, our goals, or the standards where we want to be. The superintendent presented results a couple of weeks ago and showed some comparable school districts, and those were not chosen by us and they were not cherry-picked. There is an impartial professional organization that does the job like a demographer of what are comparable ones. And in that sense, this is a national ailment that we and the entire nation of the United States face. And so, no, we don't have the results that we want to. From my engineering and economic background, I always like to look at dynamic measures, not static measures. You're looking at the structure, the training, where you're going from here. And you look at the future and how do I make it better? So yes, a result is very, very useful, but it is one point in time. It may not be most representative. From the data, you learn where you can improve and you work forwards. At the last board meeting, I want to give credit to Laura Jakes, who said that you've got to have longitudinal measurements, otherwise we don't know whether we're getting better or worse. And that's true, but I still think you've got to focus more on the future, more on how to get better, more on where are the areas where you can improve, more on training and helping and encouraging and taking care of the physical and well-being of your teachers, that whole package. So I'm not discouraged. We know we went backwards in the pandemic. If you look between the beginning of the year and the end of the year, the rate of improvement is actually quite good. So know when you're where we want to be, make sure we look in the hidden corners and look for all the talents and follow our diversity strategic plan goals. And that's how we got to do it. So yeah, it's a starting point. And for 2 years, it'd be nice to see if maybe some small steps can be made.
What duty do you think a school board owes to its students, the 7,400 students that Wenatchee School District serves?
to give them the chance to be successful citizens. And it can be academic. Right now, we're putting a huge emphasis on career and technical education. But I still think the ability to think, be excited, and know knowledge purely for itself, even if it makes for a difficult career, is something that should be out there. So we still have that. But I talk about survival skills. I think this is financial literacy is something that I was involved in, a little helper in getting that into the curriculum. That kind of skill, the fact that job requirements change so fast, and that the phrase that the school district uses is future ready. And I think that's future ready in terms of having skills. It's future ready in being able to adapt. It's future ready in recognizing reality and believing in yourself and knowing how to present yourself. And so it's an array of skills that are almost like training early employees rather than I've got to learn to write an ad in the 3 R's. So that's what we do. It all ends up to be not only a citizen who can be responsible and understand, but a citizen who can protect, defend, and take opportunities for himself or herself.
Well, Martin Barron, running for the at-large seat on Wenatchee School Board. Thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you for inviting me, and I've enjoyed speaking. Thank you.
You're watching the NCW Life channel.
Shoot, I think I left my keys in the kitchen. Can you grab them?
Yep.
Find out?
What's this?
It's a locking bag. It keeps Grandma's medication safe.
But I could just take it.
Well, for one thing, it locks. And if it were gone, I know there's a problem.
Huh. Well played.
Help prevent opioid misuse before it starts. Visit getthefactsrx.com.
Hi everybody, Dan Kuntz alongside Jesse Coble from Alpine Air. My heat pump there's like steam coming out of it. It's making weird noises. Is this something I need to be concerned about?
No, Dan, that's normal operation. Refrigeration technology steals heat from the outside, transfers it to the inside, and it creates frost on your heat pump. The defrost cycle melts that off, which creates steam and a little bit of noise.
That makes sense. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
Jefferson Robbins for NCW Life. There are 3 seats with contested races for the Wenatchee School Board this coming November election. I'm joined by one of the challengers for an at-large seat on that board, Tricia Kleek. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell me, Tricia, about yourself and what you do and what led you to make the decision to jump in this race?
Well, I'm a Wenatchee area almost native. We moved to East Wenatchee when I was 4 years old, and I grew up in the Eastmont schools mostly, with a few years at Bethesda Christian School. Went back at the end of 9th grade and finished at Eastmont and graduated from there in 1983. I pursued just various jobs for a while. Started at the college, but that really wasn't my thing at that age. I just was not into academics still at that point. So worked other jobs, sales, waitressing, lots of fun things. And then eventually got married and had 3 boys. I homeschooled my sons and learned gobs and gobs, homeschooling them, things I hadn't learned in my educational experience. So it was really rewarding for them and for me. Went back to school later, got my nursing degree at WVC, and then bachelor's at WGU, Western Governors University. So I've been a nurse for 7 years now, and I'm taking a little break because I'm really busy with politics, but hoping to continue.
Have you been observing the Wenatchee School District closely? Or?
I didn't. I have had almost no knowledge before running into some friends who were telling me the state of the schools, and I was just appalled. Not super surprised because I didn't feel incredibly accomplished when I graduated from high school. I knew I hadn't worked hard for that. I hadn't it wasn't any major accomplishment. Nursing school, on the other hand, is rigorous and quite the challenge. But when I was made aware of the academic state of the schools, and I'm obviously, watching the news and knowing what's going on, with ideologies being introduced in the schools, I was very concerned.
Tell me what kind of ideology concerns you have about Wenatchee School District.
Well, there's a lot of very controversial ideologies, DEI, CRT, even the social emotional learning has some aspects of Marxist ideologies. They're very divisive. There's the haves and the have-nots, and privileged and not privileged, and it just pits people against one another, which I don't think those ideologies have any place in the public school system. I believe that the public school system, being funded by taxpayers, ought to be about academics.
What is it about DEI that is troublesome? And would you see yourself rolling back any movements that the school district has made toward diversity, equity, inclusion if you were elected?
Those words all on their surface are great. I mean, diversity is obviously everything. I mean, our population, our country is very diverse. Equity, we're all for equity. And inclusion, of course we want to include everyone. But underlying those ideologies are very divisive things, like I said, about Marxism with the haves and have-nots and that kind of stuff. I just, and I don't know, I'm not familiar with what the school district is doing besides honoring those words themselves, which obviously we all agree with. But those policies, they're embedded with Marxist ideologies at their foundations when you boil them down. So my whole hope is to accomplish neutrality. We don't introduce the families are responsible for, the ideologies. Like, I believe, for instance, that people of faith have a much harder challenge because their children are being taught, things that are anti-faith, like the world just evolved, there's no God. People of faith believe that God created the world and that there's male and female, and you can't change your gender.
You use the term evolved. Now, evolution is a scientific fact and has been taught in schools for a long time. Are you thinking that should not be taught?
We're constantly evolving. That's certainly true. But the original origin of the species, people of faith believe different things, and quite often that God, a divine creator, created the world. And that's originally how we came to being. And so when kids are taught things against that, for instance, when I was in college, my biology class, there was a paragraph in the beginning of the book that said, once upon a time, people thought there was some divine creator or something, but now we know that things just evolved. Well, that doesn't make sense to a lot of us. I don't ever walk into a home and say, wow, this just happened. That's amazing. It's obviously design. There's much design in everything. It didn't just happen. It didn't appear. It didn't, come out of nothing.
Have you reviewed the curricula for what students are being taught in Wenatchee schools?
I haven't. I know what I was taught when I was in school, and I'm assuming it's pretty much, in the public school, it's the same as like I saw in the college.
But we haven't seen a curriculum in Wenatchee School District that says there is no God, evolution just happens.
And I don't know that.
Can you identify, outside of questions of ideology, the biggest challenges facing the school district?
The academics. 71% are failing math, 65% are failing science, and 54% are failing English. I think we need to get our community to embrace a shared vision of getting involved and getting our kids quality education and doing whatever it takes, because we have a larger Hispanic population than English population. I mean, there's just a lot of challenges that we're faced with, and we need to get together and come up with a plan for how to address all these issues. The attendance is very dismal. 62% of students are attending on a regular basis. These are scary numbers. There's something wrong. I don't think that parents have confidence in the school system. If they're not making sure their kids are getting there, they obviously don't think it's important enough to make it a priority. And I think we need to address that and get everybody, like I said, rally our community to help our schools.
Tricia Cleek, candidate for at-large Wenatchee School Board membership. Thanks very much for being here today.
Thank you, Jefferson.
You're watching the NCW Life channel.
Welcome to the Columbia Basin Dispute Resolution Center. We are a local nonprofit serving Grant and Adams counties, helping businesses and people resolve difficult issues so they can move toward a better future. We offer help with workplace disputes, residential issues, family matters, and can train your staff in conflict prevention and resolution skills. Call us at 509-237-8401 to learn more.
Have you been to Boswell's Furniture lately?
Yes, Boswell's has an expansive 2-story showroom filled with so many great choices for our living room, dining room, and bedroom.
Did you know that Boswell sells directly from their store inventory, so we wouldn't have to wait to get our new furniture?
Yes, plus Boswell's has free local delivery and complimentary design service to help us with the layout and fabric choices.
No waiting and amazing customer service. I mean, why would we go anywhere else?
Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
Happy fall, Wenatchee Valley. Collins Fashions has your fall fashion necessities. Cozy sweaters, jackets, vests, and coats. Jeans in skinny, slim, regular, and boot cut from Jag, Cut, French dressing, and Liverpool. Sparkly blazers and tops for holiday special occasions. Comfy PJ salvage and tribal. Sleepwear and robes make great gifts. Brighton has designed gorgeous olive and chili pepper handbags. New Apple Watch bands are in and will not last long. Come see us at Collins, where fun meets fashion in downtown Wenatchee.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
High clouds still hanging around doing their thing, and what you see outside our window right there behind me is what we're going to have all day today. But here comes the rain. This has been well advertised. This is a pretty sizable system that's heading our way, going to dump a bunch of rain later on overnight tonight into Thursday. We're on the eastern tip of this system. The western tip of the same system is in Guam. That's how big this is. So we're going to be dry today, and then this Pacific system rolls in tonight. Heavy rain from about 10 o'clock tonight till about 10 o'clock tomorrow in the morning. It's that 12-hour period. We're going to get a lot of rain for the Wenatchee Valley. Then we dry out and then get more rain on Saturday and Saturday night. We're in for a serious deluge. In the meantime, until the rain comes, because we're still under the influence of that ridge of high pressure, we have an air stagnation advisory. That's in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. And if you've spent any time around the Wenatchee Valley, you know what this means by now. The sun doesn't go very high in the sky, doesn't get particularly warm. Warm air rises, that's what it does. And then we get that roof, so to speak. Keeps the pollutants from getting out into the atmosphere. So the air quality isn't bad, but we thought we'd throw that out there. So lots of clouds today, just high clouds. We'll top off about 48 or so. Rain tonight. Again, most of the rain from 10 o'clock this evening till 10 o'clock Thursday morning. Going to come down at a pretty good clip, folks, and we need it. With a high of about 50 tomorrow. Then we dry out on Thursday night and Friday. Overnight rain Friday night and rain all day Saturday. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Kuntz is leaving the office of the city of Wenatchee. After 12 years, a new mayor will be sitting in that seat. One of the folks who wants to fill that office joins me now. Mike Poyer, member of the Wenatchee City Council. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You have Mayor Kuntz's endorsement as the candidate to replace him. You've also praised his work as mayor, said he's done a good job. What does Mayor Mike Poyer do differently from the Frank Kuntz administration?
So first of all, Mayor, you said he's endorsed me, and he is. He believes he knows what I've done in the past, I think, and I think that's the key. And it's okay. Him and I, we both try so hard, and which is nice. But the transparency